Go.
Welcome, everyone. You already heard me say this, but I'll say it again. We're so glad to have you on our Zoom tonight. My name is Tammy Maltby. I'm here with Eava Currence, and we are going to share with you in just the next few minutes what we believe could be truly transformational, not just informational, but transformational for you and your family. And we have experienced that ourselves. We have a phenomenal guest for you tonight. I am so looking forward to speaking with him. But before I do, I want to just give you my very quick 2-minute story. If you are a guest tonight, I want to encourage you. Someone invited you because they believe that this is something that could benefit you in your health or your finances or the community of which you travel in. It's a beautiful opportunity that has truly, truly changed my life. About 6 years ago, I jumped into this business. I'm going to see if I can share my screen with you here. Stand by. Let me see if that will share. And I want to show you a little bit about my life. I was a co-host of a women's television show in Chicago for 10 years. That's me in my other hair color. I've had many through the years, but that was many, many years ago. One of the things I love to do is cook. That's called the Maltby cake. I was an author and speaker, and I worked in a nonprofit field, and here I am as an author. This was my life for many, many years. I loved my life. It was a wonderful life, but life happened, and my life changed drastically in a very short period of time. I want to show you why I do what I do. These are 4 on the bottom of my 7 grandsons. These are 4 of my adult children. I have 2 internationally adopted children, a Korean son, and my daughter is born in Russia. And this is my husband, Jerry Melchizedek Sr. He is a lieutenant colonel, taught at the Air Force Academy for several years. This is what happened, if I can get this screen, when I entered into this business. I went through a significant loss in my life. We lost all of our investments in 2008, and we had to recreate our lives. And we asked a friend what they were doing. He said, just come and hear this opportunity. It might be for you, it might not, but I believe it's something that you need to hear about. Well, sure enough, we jumped in, and within 2 years, 22 months, our team became the fastest growing team in the world for our former company, Limu, now under the umbrella of Ariix. And this is what happened to my life. I went through a pretty dark season of many years trying to crawl out of debt from what had happened to all of our investments. But look at these beautiful people. This is what happened. These are some of my team. These are some of the trips that we won. These are some of the events that we did. Our team grew exponentially, and in no time, our financial picture drastically changed. I love this picture because this shows part of our team. Our team is all over the United States. Now we're growing into several different areas of the world. But look at these beautiful people. These are people where this opportunity has changed their lives. They're just like you, just like me. They were looking for a better way. And that was me. And in 6 years now, a little over 6 years in this business, I am so grateful that someone introduced me to the opportunity of network marketing and direct sales. And so tonight, without further ado, I want to introduce you to our very special guest. I got to hear this young man, and he is very young. The first time I saw him, I'm like, this cannot be true. This guy could not do what he did in that short period of time. But I heard him in Salt Lake City. After we had merged our company, it was called Limu. We came underneath a house of brands called Ariix. And Ariix has 8 brands. I call it an umbrella with little spokes that hold that umbrella up. Company, Limu, is one of those spokes. So we came into this bigger company, network market, our brands, 8 different brands. And I got to hear Duke speak the first time in Salt Lake City. And he got up there, and his story, his transparency, his courage, what he did, it was just remarkable. So let me just quickly introduce you to Duke. Duke Tubtim. His wife is Sheila, and they have two beautiful children, Sophia, what a beautiful name, 6 years old, and Luke, who is 2. That means they're busy. That means they're very busy parents. He is in the Founders Club, and he is also on the Partners Council. He's a power ranker, excuse me. And his dream was to be a stay-at-home dad, to be able to be involved in his children's lives because of his own personal story. In 2006, he basically retired. He went into what they call a legacy status, meaning he probably didn't have to work another day in his life. But it's 2020 and Duke is back. And I think that's awesome. And I want to introduce and I want to welcome you. Duke, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. And why don't you just jump in? Tell us your story, and more than anything, why Ariix? I mean, here you are. You didn't ever have to go back and go back into, I mean, you were very extremely financially successful. But here you are. It's 2020. And you're back building. And so why don't you take us back, give us a little of your story, and bring us up to the present date.
Okay. Now, might as well ask, do you want me to have slides? As you were talking,
Yes.
I pulled some, I literally pulled an old event with pictures from my past. I was like, oh, I might need some slides. So you might see me shuffle through them, but I'll make a long story really short. And again, thank you for having me on. And let me go ahead and let me at least get the slides up. I don't know if y'all can see that okay, if we're good on that.
Yes, we can see it great.
Again, long story, really, really short, and thank you for the introduction. I've been involved in this industry for a good amount of time. 20 plus years I've been involved in this industry. And again, I'm just going to run through the pictures. I didn't create a slideshow for this. So literally, this is an old event slide. Perfect. So I'm just going to run through it. This was me back then. I deal with a lot of the younger crowd, so to speak. I deal with a lot of people in the early 20s. Whenever they see pictures of this, they just kind of chuckle. And I have to remind them this was a style back then. So they look at it like, what, why, right? But anyways, yes, I have to remind them this was a style. I was heavily into the sciences. And again, a long story really short, I didn't come from a well-to-do family. That was me actually working on a science project for the Science Olympiad. So I thought I was going to follow in my father's footsteps and being an engineer. But again, I didn't come from a well-to-do family. And my father had a stroke since I was in the 6th grade. So his body he was disabled. So money was tough. And again, in my senior year, my parents dropped the bomb saying, we can't afford to help you with college at all. And back in the late 90s, it was actually culture where parents would support their kids, especially through college, so they would graduate debt-free. Student loans are just so normal now. Again, when I bring this up with the younger crowd, they don't realize that this was how life used to be. And so I started looking for work. Again, I'm just going to go through some of my slides. This was one of my job applications, the Best Buy. I took a lot of pride in it because I needed no whiteout. Again, kids don't understand what typewriters were back then, but again, type that out. But I got involved in this industry, and it wasn't because I was looking for it. I actually had no idea this network marketing was even a thing. I stumbled across this line of work just when I was looking for a job. And when I heard everything, and again, just a long story, really, really short, I heard so many things that I'm like, how is it that going towards 18 years old, I never heard of this stuff before? One thing that I heard was the mind is directly proportional to the pocket. The saying is, if you're negative up here, there's a good chance you could be negative down here. And I thought about all the people I knew and respected financially, like, you know, that's so true. And the personal development really, really drew me in. And so I decided to come on board. It was telecommunications, providing long distance phone service. Their goal was to get into utilities. That was the network marketing industry that I was in. And so I started learning the ropes. Again, I'm just going to run through the slides here. And this ironically wasn't my car. And it makes, again, there's usually a backstory to all this. Ironically, that eventually ended up being my car, but that wasn't my car. It was actually one of my mentors. It was their car, and I was just learning the ropes, learning the business. When I first started, I did terrible at this line of work. The first 6 months of my business, it's almost embarrassing talking about how much I made. It was almost a goose egg. And I didn't have the right attitude. I prejudged training and whatnot. I finally went to my mentors. They said, this crazy thing that you got me into, I said, this thing don't work. And they said, Duke, you got it all wrong. They said, Duke, this thing works. They said, you don't work. And I'm like, what? And they just said, this is what they said to me. And I'm glad they were a little rough on me. They said, Duke, you don't act good. You don't look good. You don't dress good. You don't smell good. Like literally, this was no joke. They said that. And they said, Duke, why would anybody want to work with you if they don't even want to be like you? And as I said, I was asking for that. Okay. I was asking for it, and I changed. I changed. And one thing I realized is that the more things I learned, it sharpened my sword. It was almost to a point where I could see a difference in my income every single time I learned and I applied. I know a lot of people that learn, but they don't apply. And they always say knowledge is power, but I'm sure some of us have heard the saying that knowledge is potential power, right? And so anyways, again, this was my background. A long story short, again, I had only one job for a short period of time, which was pizza delivery. These were my checks back. I shouldn't even be showing that stuff, but this was in the year 2000, and I was very fortunate to become the top earner of that company. So a couple years of learning, trial and error, I guess you could say it paid off. Very fortunate to break a 7-figure income at 21 years old. It became a multiple 7-figure income. Not going to show this just, because of stream, but I eventually transitioned over to wellness. And the biggest reason why is, again, long story short, this is my take on technology, is it's always at the cutting edge, and you just never know when there's going to be new technology. No one even does long distance anymore. So decided to go into wellness, and I call it premium wellness. And there's a big difference between just normal wellness and the premium sector. But I got involved in this company, and just understanding the principles, just again, very fortunate, was able to build myself up. A car guy, okay, and again, definitely into cars. I would have to say I've toned down, in all honesty. Having 2 kids have toned me down on that. There's just no time to drive those type of cars as much. And when you're a family of 4, what's the point of having 2 seats? So as I said, I toned down a good amount. She was one big reason, of course, why. This is my significant other. I like to say my better half, and we do build this business 50-50. She has her role. She also speaks as well, and I play my role. But again, she was brought into my life. Many of us here know this person, Mark Wilson. And this was I might as well give this backstory. There's something in the previous company called the $1 Million Day. And with the $1 Million Day, you get your $1 Million wish. And your $1 Million wish is they claim anything you want. So I actually wanted to drive a Bugatti Veyron. Now that car is worth well over $1 million. Didn't want to own it, just wanted to rent it for a day and to take it to its top speed of well over 250 miles per hour. So the company was supposed to, let's say, pay for it, maybe pay for a runway for me to do that. And I know it's such a guy thing, I guess you could say, to ask for something like that. As it was getting close, I changed my mind, and I told Sheila, I said, I don't want to do that anymore. And she's like, well, why? And I said, well, if we're going to start a family, I want to know more about this guy, which was Mark Wilson. He was the EVP of sales back then. Of course, today's our president, but he was the executive vice president of sales. And I said, I want to spend a day with him, and I want to know, is he the same at home as he is in business? Because I really believe business should be an extension of who you are. And that's what I did for my $1 Million Day. And when that day was done, I felt so secure, and this was in the previous company, but this was my last year there. Again, very fortunate, did well there, was very fortunate to be their closing speaker. And then Ariix formed. And in a nutshell, worked in Ariix. These were my goals. And I always tell teammates to have goals, especially during times like this. Some areas are locked down, some areas are not locked down, but even more than ever to have very, very big goals, because it's so easy to get caught up in the drama. But as I said, these were my goals when I first started off. And I went from a lot of cars, I had to downsize. It was part of the sacrifice, but built it up. One thing was built the transformation story when SlenderX came out, built out, again, had to use the products, had to be a product. The product was very fortunate to build back up. So again, just going through some of this, as I said, being a product of the product is so big. And this is the lifestyle that this was the biggest reason why I do this is for families. So I just literally ran through all those slides in a matter of minutes, and I apologize because I understand the whole theme is about why doing Ariix now. I'll just say this, and then of course I'll stop talking. I wanted to retire. That was my number one goal, being involved in Ariix, and it may have been very different than a lot of people in the very beginning of Ariix. And the reason why is because I was doing this line of work since my teenage years. And I always look at the time freedom, like true residual time freedom, as the magical unicorn. I've heard from so many people like, are you sure? I don't think so. I don't think it exists. You know, it's the dream they sell us, but is it real? And so I just wanted to touch the rim as a basketball player. I just wanted to touch the rim. And in the year 2015-16, that became a reality. So I worked in Ariix for around 4 years and then went into that whole retirement mode. It was when my daughter was 1, and it was a commitment. Why was it such a big goal of mine? I think because growing up, when my father had a stroke since I was a kid, I love my parents. I love my dad. He's not with us anymore. He passed away a couple years ago, but I felt a little robbed of my own childhood. And I just felt like for my own kids, I did not want that to be a part of it. So that's why I'm very big on health. I'm just so happy to be in a wellness company, because again, I saw what lack of health did to my father, but also have that time freedom. So live that for 4 years, 2020 comes around and a lot's changed. So I don't know if you want to ask specific questions about that, then I could be more in depth on why I'm back in and really fired up to build.
Why are you fired up to build? What do you see as the future?
Well, a couple of things that made me come back as aggressive as I did. One, 2020. I think none of us saw this whole crazy lockdown as part of 2020, but at the end of a decade, there's a time to reflect. I was approaching 40. I'm not quite there yet, but I'm getting there. And I thought to myself, what am I going to do for the last 20-year chunk of my life? The first 20-year chunk of my life was just kind of growing up, being a kid and taking care of my dad. The second 20 years of my life was doing network marketing and chasing what people thought was a magical unicorn of time freedom. And then now the last 20 years is, well, what do I really want to do? So that was one thing. But then also knowing that massive momentum for a company only happens once. Now, many network marketing companies will have spurts of momentum, but the big one, the big play that everyone says, man, I wish I was a part during that time. That only happens once. And all of the signs of that is approaching. And I feel that Ariix spent 8 years really creating an identity that the industry has never seen before. I've never really seen a company where other companies, Limu, great example, would want to collaborate. I've never, ever seen something like that before. And this company spent time, since it's never been created before, they had to really fine tune it to get it dialed in. So it's not something that would have taken a year. But 8 years in the business, it looks like they found the sweet spot. And the time to really get on board is that sweet spot. And so the biggest reason now is, I don't know how I would feel if that huge momentum play that only happens once happened at a time when I decided just to go into retirement mode. And I thought to myself, if I bust my butt now for the next couple years, this is how I look at it. If you bust your butt for a couple years now, it's equivalent to 6 years when you're not in that phase right before momentum. So why work 6 years when you could get it all done in perhaps 2 years just because of proper timing? So that's my short answer.
So awesome. It's so awesome. Thank you so much, Duke. And I know that you are just an amazing, tremendous leader. And the vision that this is the right place, the right time. And, you know, the fact that it happens one time, boy, I will not be in retirement when it happens. I can guarantee it. Thank you so much for sharing with us tonight, Duke. The best to you and your wife. I look forward to seeing you in September and our big event coming up in Dallas, Texas, Fort Worth, Dallas. And thank you again for your time.
Thank you for having me.
And now we're going to just very quickly transition over to Eava Baca Currence, and she's going to close out our Zoom with why RX, why now. She's going to give you a couple of slides that really show why this is the right time. You're at the right place, and we are about to hit momentum. Eava, why don't you share your opportunity?
Great, thank you so very much, Duke. Just amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. Premium wellness. I'm taking that with me. Premium wellness and having your business be an extension of who you are. And so that's why I am Ariix. So just briefly, hello, my name is Eava Baca Currence, and I am a serial entrepreneur. I have owned multiple businesses, always been very successful, it always cost me 6 figures to get in, and I prayed in 3 to 5 years that I would have that money back, and that's the way business is supposed to work according to the world. So I did everything right. And then, you know, sometimes life happens. And so I'm going to share my screen with you here. And here we go. Okay, so Tammy, can you see that?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Okay, so reverse. Here I am. Life is going great. Did everything the way we're supposed to do. Our heart is for children. My husband and I were foster parents to gang kids. It's always been about music, about God, we did everything that we were supposed to do according to the world. And life was well. And so we retired. We started a church, and being the entrepreneur I am, I said to my husband, you know, let's start a coffee shop and we support what our passion is. And if you take a look down there, we started a coffee shop, everything's going great. And then life happened. Anybody had life happen? Come on, raise your hand. Okay, life happened. And all of a sudden, it wasn't about our dreams, it was about staying alive. And we were looking at life and death situations. And in the midst of that, stress, cortisol, everything I gained, that's me at my cousin's wedding at 175 pounds. At that point, it didn't matter because all we were trying to do is just survive. And so I went to a friend who I loved dearly, and she had the integrity to say to me, Eava, not only am I going to pray for you, because we're praying people, whatever your faith is, that's who we are. But she said, I have an answer for you. You know that thing I've been telling you about? I want you to come to a party at Tammy Maltby's house. So I went to the party, and being the business snob I was, I came home and told my husband, I think they have something for our health, but I'm not sure about the business. And my husband said, well, look at it this way, Eava. We have nothing to lose. Do you trust her? The person who got you on this call, do you trust him? He says, just do what she told you to do, and we'll do it together. I've got news for you, men. When you tell your wife we'll do it together, it's a done deal. So we got started, and it's interesting that you would say, be an extension of who you are. What I love about Ariix, it was an extension of who we are. We were about changing people's lives, one story at a time. And oh my gosh, what's Ariix about? changing people's lives. Now, it's really important though, when you start a business, bar none, I'm a businesswoman. It needs to be a good marketing, a good business plan. Well, a business that is at 8 years, ranked 35. You notice I have 57 because I want you to see in 1 year they jumped to 35. We're already ahead of that this year. And the top 100 direct sales companies. We have over $220 million in revenue and are ranked in the 500, the Inc. 500 and Inc. 5000 and the top growing companies. Now, Duke was talking about momentum, that sweet spot. And this, every business person knows this. It happens once. Now I want you to see where Ariix is. Do you see down here 220 million? That's where we were in 2019. This projected growth is what Duke was talking about. It's momentum. This is the point where a virtually unknown company, where only 2% saturation in the United States, becomes a household name. And that's when you want to make sure that you're on board. Now, right now, Ariix is in all of these countries. It's a global market, but take a look at the 3 little dots in North America. That's what you call opportunity. And anyone who knows a business knows you want to be the person on the ground floor. You want to be the first in. So what I like about Ariix is it's very simple. All you do is redirect your spending. My question to you is, do you use supplements? Are you in weight management? I'm telling you right now, we are in quarantine. Shut the door to the refrigerator and pick up your computer. Because all you do is simply buy what you're buying, but buy it from your own home business. Become a product of the product. This is a horrible picture for me. The one on the right, that was 6 months ago. I think I'm doing pretty good. I can't wait to see 6 months from now. So it's very simple. This is not about going out and taking out a 6-figure loan. This is about simply living your life and being profitable at it. So how do you get started? You simply buy a pack of products. We have great products. Who doesn't need pure water? 99.99% filtration. It's what they use, astronauts use. Home purity. We sold out in 3 hours. EPA hospital grade, food grade. Remember, I used to own a coffee shop. Products. Skincerity. I call that the eraser for the face. Keeping green, slender eyes. It's very simple. It's not about losing weight and starving yourself, fasting every other day. It's about living a lifestyle that is healthy. MOA. Any athletes on our call? Top of the line athletes need top of the line products. We have a top of the line products. MOA is 29 super nutrients, all at pharmaceutical grade from an OTC FDA approved facility. If you're going to be the top performer, you want the top products. I like that. Premium wellness. Duke, I'm going to keep it forever. Oils. How many of you have friends who have oil companies and great big catalogs? We're not doctors. We do not diagnose. We do not heal, cure, treat, or mitigate any disease. We have 4 blends. 1 to keep you calm, and 3 others. I'm not very good at calm. And then this is my go-to. This is the foundation of health. Remember when I said we started and we were looking at a life-threatening illness? Well, after 35 radiation treatments, I signed up one of my first promoters, my first partners in the business, because that's what we are. We're partners, we're team members. When on the 31st treatment, when most people didn't make it through, they came over to our house and my husband was on the roof cleaning out the gutters. He looked at me and he said, I don't care what it is, sign me up. That's what we have. Burn, we are the market dominators on Fucoidan, and it's really simple. Just go to pubmed.gov. That's the National Institute of Health database. Take a look at the 1900 studies about people a lot smarter than me. All I know is take it, it works. Look at me now. So it's very simple. To get started, buy a pack of products and then share your transformation. Be it, anyone know, do you know anyone who has acne? That is horrible for a teenager. My good friend Juanita over here on the left, one morning she woke up and found out that they were cutting into her face. That is her 60 days later. See the old lady on the left down here? That was me. 60 days later, look at this neck. And you know, it's for men too. We had one guy who actually got a raise because his boss thought he was looking awfully healthy and well rested. He must be doing something right. Now, remember what I said? Shut the door to the refrigerator. It's very simple. We have Burn launching tomorrow night. Okay, now this is the deal. Tomorrow at noon, if you are with Limu, I'm sorry if we are not quite complete with the merger. If you're on the Ariix side, I'm sorry, you'll have to wait till June 1st. But if you're on the Limu side, or you know somebody who could be a really good friend of yours, you want to get Burned. Take a look at this. My good friend, actually, he's my son. I adopted him. Craig Tomanini, from 407 to 253 pounds. Look at these pants. This is my good friend, Eva Marie, and the person up on the right is moi. Now, it's very simple. How do you get started? You buy a pack of products. You become a product of the product. And then you find 4 business partners. What you do, very simple. They just do what you did, buy a pack of products. I started with a 500 PV pack. Find 4 business partners who also join the business with a $500 pack. Now, you can buy any size pack. This is what I did, and this worked. And let me tell you why. Because for each pack, the commission I received on it, I started at the beginning of the month. I spent $500. I signed up 4 people, made $100 each on them, and then I had $2,000 in volume. I got a $200 bonus. And for the first time ever in my life, I started a business that in 30 days was profitable, debt-free, and I made profit. In addition to that, not only will you start your business, free work for you. Basically, I started a business for free. We match your dollar. We match dollar for dollar. In bonus dollars, rewards dollars, you can travel, discounts, you can buy diamonds for discounts, loyalty shopping, you can get reduced prices on your products, everything you're buying. And we are the only, I don't know if we're the only, but we're one of the only direct sales network marketing companies that provides a medical plan, and you can pay for it out of your rewards dollars. Free, baby. We have a different approach to life. So it's really simple. You get 4 business partners. And now this is what I want you to see. This is the beauty of network marketing. So if there are any business snobs out there, well, let me explain to you the beauty of why you want to be in the direct marketing industry. So remember, you bought a pack of products. You just became a product of the products. And you know what? If all you want to do is get healthy, get beautiful, you want clean water, you just want to buy the products, great. The way you do it is you get a pack of products. Try them all. And then you're going to end up like I did. All of a sudden one day I looked around and said, because everybody was coming to me and saying, Mama, whatever you're doing, I want it. So who wouldn't start the business? So I shared it with 4 people. Now this is the beauty of network marketing. You teach those 4 people to share it with 4 people. And now you have a team, a business with 16, not employees, no payroll, nobody crying and whining and complaining, because they are business people who joined your business because they wanted to, not because they had to. You teach those 16 to sign up for people, and you have 64 people. You teach those 64 to sign up for, you have 256. You have 1,024. Now you've just shown 4 people how to start their own business. And then you just rinse and repeat. You do that 4 times in the world, according to Eava. On the 5th time, you're looking at a business with 4,096 people. You didn't have to talk to 4,096 people like I did in the coffee shop. If I wanted to sell 4,096 cups of coffee, I talked to 4,096 people. In network marketing, you as a team come together. And what does that mean? Just imagine that you duplicated yourself 4 times. You had 4,000 people in your organization, spending an average of $150 a month. The average person in America spends between $300 to $500 a month just on supplements alone. You're looking at a business that has $600,000 a month in gross revenue. That is, your percentage of that is long-term residual income. Now, how do you do that? You do the work. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. But my question to you is, if that happened to you in 10 years, would you be a happy camper? 5 years? 4 years? 2 years? 10 months? It can happen. Spend your Mondays with people that you love. These are some of the people on my team. They're not very well behaved, because you know what? People who are well behaved do not change history. So, whether you're looking to buy a home, put a child through college, need a savings account, you want to travel, want to spend time with your children, whatever your why is, we succeed as a team. So this is the deal. Whoever invited you believes in you. And if they believe in you, we believe in you, because we're a team. And we do this together as a team. And we want you to be a part of us. So I have one question for you. Are you ready? Get ready. Are you ready to get started? Get back with the person who invited you to this call. I'm telling you, it's the best business decision. It's the best lifestyle decision. It's the best decision my husband and I ever made. So thank you so much, Duke, for being a part of our call. Thank you, Tammy, Maltby. And remember, noon tomorrow. Get your burn while it's at a special reduced rate. So thank you, Tammy.
Thank you,
Thank
Eava.
you, Duke.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And we will see you probably tomorrow on another Zoom. And it was lovely. Thank you, Eava. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night, Duke. Thank you so much.